right, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining today. Today, we'll be looking at another interesting product, and that's yam. If you want to also get more information about international trade, import, export, you can visit our YouTube channel, Global Trade College or Voice of African Trade. Subscribe, like, share, and remember to click on the notification bell so you know when we upload a new video that might be of interest to you. All right, now, today we are looking at yam. So let's start. Let's look at the product. Yam is the major edible species of yam of African yam of species of yam of African origin is the white Guinea yam, rotunda pearl, or yellow yam, yellow Guinea yam, D. rotunda, D. cayenis. Now, the harvest in many parts of West Africa, mature yam are harvested at the end of rainy season or early part of dry season, which coincide with the end of vegetative growth. Yam for long-term storage, marketing and for seed are usually harvested during the Harmattan period, December, January, in many parts of southeastern Nigeria when crops have attained maximum growth and, of course, maturity. When the crop have attained maximum maturity. Today, Orelope and Irekpo local government of Oyo are the lexicon of yam producing community in Nigeria. In fact, there are a lot of yam production in Oyo State and also in Zakibiam. But there's a theory around the fact that, I don't know if this is common in Zakibiam in Benue, but twins in Oyo. And there are places that people eat a lot of yam that the tendency to produce twins is high. So they have a lot of twins. Contesting for prominence as yam growing spot like Zakibiam in Benue State, another community in Nazarawa. The major state of the federation where yam tuber are produced in large quantity include Benue, Sokoto, Abia, Anambra, Delta, Edo, Enugu, Ebonyi, Niger, Taraba, Osun, Oyo, and Plateau State. Yam specification vary from one buyer to another. Now, the interesting thing about international trade is the fact that every product has specification. Every product. Even though, there was a time I had a client that wanted to export yam, and he wanted to go to buy from my two off in Lagos, and he had to go with a proof, and they were laughing at her because of the issue of specification. You see those big yam with big fingers and branches, good for wedding, traditional wedding, they are not eligible for export. They are not eligible for export. As good or as big as they are, most buyers, unless if someone is buying abroad, maybe they want to use it for engagement or traditional wedding in abroad, not because it's going to be sold in the market. Generally, now in Nigeria, Puna and pepper yam are good example of a stable exportable species of yam. In 2016-17, when Aldogo tried to export yam, although the yam had issues, they listed, I think, about 7-8 different species of yam. So you can get additional beyond pepper and Puna yam. Generally, exportable yam have the following characteristics. It must be tasty, white before and after cooking. There's some yam, it's white before cooking. After cooking, it turns brown or yellow or red or black. Diameter 3.5 to 4.5 cm. Length about 15 to 30 cm. No hair or fiber. No finger or branches. Very smooth body with no sand. If at all, it should be very minimal. No injury. If at all, it should be very minimal. Not too big. Enough for a family to eat at once. If it's too big and they cut it, because of the environment where they are, the yam is going to get spoiled. So the one station in which is something they can easily eat, maybe once or twice max. Unlike we kind of can keep it and cut it and then eat it and cut it again. Use it. Fresh yam tuber are peeled, shelled, dried and milled into flour that is used in preparing dough like amala and telibowo in Benin, amala in Nigeria. Commercial products based on dry flakes of flour from the tuber are produced in Nigeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire for export and sale in urban areas. Yam tuber can be conveniently processed into yam flour and yam chips and pellet. Nutritional value. Yam are rich in complex carbohydrates, providing sustained energy. They are a good source of dietary fiber, aiding digestion and gut health. Certain varieties of yam are rich in vitamin C, important for immunity and collagen production. Some yam contain minerals like potassium and manganese, beneficial for various body functions. Culinary uses include boiled, the classic method in which yam is eaten, or mashed with butter and spices. Roasted. This brings out the nutty flavor, caramelized sweetness, perfect for side dishes. Fried. This creates crispy exterior with soft interior, popular in fritters and chips. As flour, ground yam can be used in baking and thickening stew. And then noodles. Grated and steamed yam can be made into noodles for stir fry or soup. Let's look at the potential market for yam. Yam is in high demand around the world. Potential market. The largest market for yam is the United States. The import volume of yam is about $176 million. I noticed something. United States, Canada, and UK are the major buyers. And there are a lot of Nigerians in this location, including Japan, including Netherlands and South Africa, even Australia. 53% of yam demand is from the US, followed by Canada, 18.2%, followed by United Kingdom, 7.5%, followed by France, 4.5%, followed by Netherlands or Japan, 3.9%, and then Netherlands and Singapore. So if you are thinking of yam, these are the different markets you can consider for you to to export your yam to. Packaging yam for export requires careful consideration of various factors to ensure the preservation of the quality during transportation from port of loading to port of discharge. Number one, selection of the quality tuber. Choose fresh, healthy, uniform size tuber for export. Avoid damaged and diseased tubers or bruises. If it's already diseased, it can affect others in the same carton. Cleaning and washing. Thoroughly clean and wash yam tuber to remove soil, dirt, and contaminant. This enhances the visual appeal. Then allow the yam to dry naturally. This is a very important one. It's called coring. Allow the yam to dry naturally to reduce the moisture content. Excess moisture can lead to mold growth and spoilage during transportation. Drying. Coring involves exposing yam to a warm and humid environment for a period of time to help them develop a protective skin and heal any minor cut or bruises. Grading and sorting. Grade and sort yam tuber based on size and quality. Uniformity in size and appearance is essential for market appeal. Choose packaging material that provide protection against physical damage. So what people do, and I'll show you pictures, is to wrap each of the yam to ensure they do not touch each other and cause bruises. The idea is to prevent physical damage as much as possible. Protection against physical damage, against moisture, external contaminants. Common packaging include mesh bag, wooden crate, and cardboard boxes. That's the regular carton. But they will now perforate it. Ensure adequate ventilation in the packaging to allow air circulation. That's the whole essence of perforating the carton. This helps prevent accumulation of ethylene gas, which can lead to ripening of the yam. Cushion. Use cushion material. People use newspaper for this, such as straw or foam, to provide a protective layer between yam and the packaging. This helps to prevent bruises and damage during transit. Clearly label the yam with essential information, including the origin, weight, requires certification. If you are exporting yam, you definitely will need quarantine, agricultural quarantine, Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service. Palletization. For bulk shipment, consider palletizing the yam, the packaged yam. Pallets facilitate handling, reduce the risk of damage. Temperature control, and I'll talk about this temperature later on. Temperature control. If you are referring to region with varying climate, consider temperature control to prevent exposure to extreme temperature that could affect the quality of yam. Documenting packaging process. This is important with date and quality control measures. Compliant with regulation, adhere to sanitary regulation, and obtain necessary certification from relevant authority. Ensure you have the quarantine coming to see what you are doing and issuing the right document. Implement stringent quality control measures to inspect yam before packaging. Reject any tuber that do not meet the required standard. Work with experts. I would recommend you work with people who have done it before. If you are trying to do it, you can get someone that have done it before. So even if you have to pay, that might be necessary. to be able to minimize your error rate as much as possible. And if you are going by sea, I'll talk about that soon, the fact that you are the one that will inform the shipping line on the temperature to use. Look at it. Maintaining the right temperature is crucial for ensuring quality and marketability of yam during export. Striking the right balance between preventing chilling injury and inhibiting sprouting. Look at the two issues in transit. Chilling injury, too cold. Inhibiting sprouting, growth. For short-term 3-week shipment, if you are going to the UK, for example, a temperature of 13 to 15 degrees or 55.4 to 59.59 Fahrenheit, 13 to 15 degrees centigrade. This temperature range helps minimize weight loss due to water evaporation while controlling sprouting and maintaining the yam freshness. It also prevents chilling injury, which can occur at lower temperature and lead to discoloration and internal breakdown. Long term, if I'm going to the US, for example, if I'm going to the US, meaning I'll be spending like 4, 5, 6 weeks or even more, 10 to 12 degrees. So the temperature for a longer journey should be lower, 50 Fahrenheit to 53.6 Fahrenheit. Should be lower. Why there is an increased risk of chilling injury at this lower temperature, it can be a necessary trade-off for long-term storage as it slows down the yam metabolic process and extends shelf life. However, careful monitoring and temperature management are crucial. Now, this is the reason why, even for yam shipment, people already make room for spoilage, 1, 2, 3, sometimes up to 4, 5% spoilage. So people, if I'm shipping 100 cartons, I'm making 105 cartons or 110 cartons, so that whatever spoilage happens, the buyer can take that from it, just to minimize spoilage. You need to advise this temperature to the shipping line. The temperature you tell them to use, they will use for your product. Yam variety. Different yam variety have slightly different temperature sensitivity. Research the specific requirement for variety you are exporting. For longer storage, slightly cooler temperature closer to 12 might be preferable. If yam are exposed to high temperature before packing, they might need pre-cooling to reach an optimum range quickly. Proper packaging and insulation can help maintain the desired temperature throughout the export journey. Temperature below 10% can cause chilling injury, leading to discoloration, pitting, and decay. Sprouting. Temperature above 16% can stimulate sprouting, reducing marketability and potential damage. Because the temperature is going up, it becomes warm, it will grow. If it becomes too low, it will create what you saw in that video. Additional tip, monitor temperature. Regularly monitor temperature during storage and transport to ensure it stays within the desired range. Ventilation. Maintain proper ventilation to prevent moisture buildup. Hygiene. Implement good hygiene practice to minimize risk of mold and rot. Remember, optimum temperature is just one aspect of yam export tuber. Proper handling, packaging, and transportation are equally important for maintaining quality and maximizing profit. So we'll move on now to have a break.
John, a determined entrepreneur, desired to go into export business but was clueless about the process. He was introduced to Export Hack, a comprehensive and product-specific online course for mastering export of agro-commodities, processed foods, solid minerals, and manufactured goods. John immediately bought the Export Hack for product of his choice at 100,000 Naira per product and voraciously learned about the specifications, packaging, documentation, market potential, pitfalls, pricing, risk mitigation, and strategies for securing buyers abroad. Through Export Hack's guidance, John boosted his export skills and became a proficient exporter. With the newfound expertise, he navigated the challenging landscape and successfully avoided common pitfalls in export business. Today, John stands as a master in exports business, a testament to his perseverance and invaluable lessons from the Export Hack. To buy the Export Hack for your product of choice, visit globaltradecollege.com or call 080920000424, 080920000424.
So if you want to get this material, like some people have requested, you can get the Export Hack for yam, basically helping you with all the information required, alongside with a number of other information how to get ready for export, protocol to getting buyer, pricing, profile, promotion, or for contract, pitfall to avoid, and pointers to export readiness, paperwork intricacies. So you can always have access to this video by purchasing the Export Hack, and in this case, the Export Hack for yam. All right, let's move on to paperwork, documentation. International trade is largely a business of documentation. International trade is largely a business of documentation and logistics. One of the documents required will be commercial invoice issued by the exporter detailing the quantity, description, unit price, total value of the yam. Then packaging, itemizing the packaging. Now, it's going to be in a carton. You need to state the weight of the carton. So, for example, if each yam is about 2 kg and you have 10 in the carton, that's 20 kg carton. That's 20 kg carton. So, depending on the number or the size of yam you have in the container, that determines, but averagely people do between 15 and 25 kg depending on the size of number of yam, but average size in the carton. So all that will be on the packing list. Of course, bill of lading showing the detail of the consignee, destination, freight charges, phytosanitary certificate issued by the National Plant Protection Organization in Nigeria. That will be the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service. This is particularly important to prevent the spread of pests. And of course, you fill in the export declaration in Nigeria, we call it the NXP. Some buyer might require you to issue an inspection certificate issued by an independent inspector verifying the quality and quantity of the yam tuber against agreed specification. Remember, we talk about the diameter, we talk about the length, we talk about the fact that no branches, no injury, no sand, and then fumigation certificate that can be gotten from the Federal Produce Inspection Service. I feel that agency, the two of them need to be merged. Certificate of origin. If the country requires it, you can get it from NASIMA. And then order permit, depending on the country you are shipping to. Some countries also require some import requirement. Some countries want to ensure you have traceability system in place. Remember temperature, packaging, and of course, for professional guidance. In Nigeria, you will need an XP. That's the export declaration form. Pro forma invoice. Export license. You need to have a CA certificate, and then you pay your next fee. Certificate of origin might not always be necessary, but there will be inspection to issue CCI by the inspection agent, and they will not issue your CCI if you do not provide evidence that Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service has issued their certificate, evidence they have seen what you're shipping. And then SGD by customs. Then shipping document, bill of lading, invoice, packing list, and of course, personal certificate, and certificate of origin. Process. Now, the export process. Number one is preparation. You see this information we are talking about? That is the information you need at the point of preparation. If you do not get this information at this point, in the process, you might have an issue with that shipment. At the point of preparation, you are getting ready for export, understanding the detail of the product you want to export, getting all the relevant information to ensure that you are ready for the business. When you are adequately prepared, you know what to do to get purchase order. When you don't know what to do to get purchase order, that is an acid test for lack of export readiness. Because immediately you know what you are ready for export, you will know the options you need to use to promote. You know the options and strategy you can use to promote in order to get purchase order. If you are not able to get purchase order, means you have not been able to promote effectively. It's a sign of inadequate preparation. Get all the information you can and then begin to promote on different platforms. Then purchase order pricing, negotiated, procurement most likely if you are not the farmer in this case. Now, remember, in your procurement, you want to ensure you are procuring a product, number one, that meets the quality specification. When you are not the one producing and you're procuring, remember that you need to ensure they meet the quality specification. First of all, is the injury and the sand around it. You can do the washing and drying yourself after your purchase, but the injury and the washing and the size, the length, the diameters for the product, you need to ensure all that at the point of procurement. At the point of procurement, at the point of packaging, you are putting it in the carton, you are padding it with the material, shredded paper, straw that you can use to pad it to prevent it from rubbing against each other, labeling the carton, storage, maintaining the temperature of the environment where it's being stored, and then moving it to the port. Remember, if you are moving it to the port, you need to advise the temperature for refrigerated shipment. If you are shipping by air, an easy case. It's a lot easier. Because if you are shipping by air, it's easy because if you are shipping by air, it will get there in 24 to 48 hours or within a week. depending on how inefficient the airline is. So, and of course, the temperature also is controlled within the plane. Pre-export documentation, we talked about that. Port clearance is done. You need an agent. If you want to do the shipment, you need agent to work with you. We can assist you with port clearance and shipment. Post-export documentation is done. The bill of lading invoice and packing leave. Pre-export, the NXP, which is done on trade monitoring system. Post-export documentation, and then shipment, port-to-port shipment. Document is sent to the buyer or to the buyer's bank. Presentation is done. Port clearance and inspection is done. And then payment afterward. Obviously, the buyer, if he has not been paid, will not get payment. Purchaser. Some people believe one of the major challenge or headache in export business is purchaser. And I said, maybe yes, to the extent that you are not prepared. To the extent that you are not prepared. If the preparation is solid, you know exactly what to do. You know exactly what to do to be able to ship this product abroad. Purchasers. There are different options you can explore. In the Export app, we have what is called the protocol to finding buyers. And you can get the Eureka Pack to be able to learn more about these options. You can decide to use social media as the means of getting buyers for your product. Using Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you can advertise, particularly on Instagram and Facebook. You can advertise and you can direct the people making inquiry to your phone directly. But please do not start this if you have not observed the protocol on how to find buyers. If you have not observed the protocol on how to find buyers, do not. Because you need to have a page that has been on for a while with you posting and talking about the product and the organization. Before you start promoting on your Facebook page, on LinkedIn, master and learn the protocol to finding buyer so you don't break any of the protocol, thereby affecting your result. Because people will say, I tried, it didn't work, because you have not observed the protocol. You can decide to register on a B2B platform. B2B platforms, you can pay, and when you pay, you gain access to the buyers. If they are just interested in your product, database company, you can purchase database. You can purchase database of those currently importing that item in that country to be able to get the contact, but you need to convert the contact to contract. And that's why we recommend the Eureka Pack for you. Then international trade fairs, that's the most expensive option. Now, in implementing all this, please ensure you have a partner on the other side, particularly either an overseas sales representative or a subsidiary in which you partner with to set up the business, or an overseas sales branch that you set up yourself to drive sales in the export market. Ensure you have a partner. Now, to be able to get buyers, I would recommend you get Eureka Pack. Eureka Pack do 7 things for you to get buyers abroad. Your search for buyer is over through the help of Eureka Pack. It shows you how to get prepared to get buyers abroad. The preparation required. It shows you the protocols you need to follow. It shows you the tools you can use online to know where to find the buyer. Who are those buying? The tools to deploy in getting buyers. Different tools online. Pricing. Your pricing must be right. The beauty of the product in question is the fact that you can get it in Nigeria. That is the beauty. You can get it in Nigeria. What I mean is that it's produced locally. You don't need to import it. That's the beauty of this product. The fact that it can be sourced in Nigeria. That means your cost should be competitive if you are getting it from the right channel. Buying it at Mile 2 in Lagos might not be good enough. You need to go up country to the farm gate to buy and select exactly what you want. So the cost include product cost. These are the costs you have to factor in to arrive at your price. Transport to the warehouse depends on the distance. Warehousing. In this case, I'm not sure you need a warehouse. Okay, you might need a warehouse really, but you need a warehouse that is well ventilated. By the time you are putting that yam inside carton, you should be moving it straight to the port. In fact, moving it straight to the port to go into the refrigerated container. Or you have a cooling system to an environment where the temperature is controlled. For those that join us, you can get the material to get all the details we talk about the temperature for short and long distance. Transport to the port depends on the carrier, product, and destination. Freight forwarder typically charge between 150 and 250 per container, depending on the size of the container and the item in question. Shipping line local charges about 30 to 40,000. I think it's even higher now per container. Freight charge, of course, that depends on the carrier, product, and destination. NSP charge is 8,000 per NXP. Next is 0.5% of the FOB value. Stuffing and logistics depend on the terminal between 130 and 150. Terminal handling charge between 80 and 120,000 per container. Marine insurance fee between 0.4 to 0.8% of the invoice value. Now, I try to give the range in this price because a lot also depends on the individual, the terminal you are using for your shipment and the port you are using for the shipment. Inspection fee between 100 and 120. Certificate of origin is now 26. I did one 2 weeks. Is it last week or 2 weeks ago? It's now 26 per shipment. Fumigation and fire certificate will be determined by the number, the size of your item, and a number of other factors will be determined by the government agency. And if you are taking a loan, of course, you factor in your interest rate. So it's important you do your cost analysis very well to be able to arrive. And when you are using exchange rate, please work with official rate. And I would recommend you go a little bit below the official rate because of the current volatility. Let's hope it stabilizes very soon so it becomes easier to plan. Now, the pitfall. Exporting yam tuber involves addressing various quality issues to ensure that the produce reaches its destination in optimal condition. Here are the common quality issues with yam tuber export and potential mitigation strategy: bruises and physical damage. Careful handling during harvesting, during washing and packaging. Using cushion material, like I said, what people try to do is to use paper, wrapping each of the products to ensure they do not have cause to rub against each other. Then number 2, sprouting. If you remember, if the temperature go beyond 16 degrees, there will be sprouting. If you go below 10 degrees, there will be, it will begin to decay inside. If you remember, we talked about this earlier. If you go below, it will begin to decay inside. That's chilling injury. So what you saw just now are the chilling injury. Yam, harvest yam at the appropriate maturity stage, of course. Implement post-harvest treatment to inhibit sprouting and store the yam under a suitable condition to mitigate or maintain dormancy. So it doesn't have a reason to grow. Mitigation, mold and decay. Ensure proper drying of the yam before, now mold growing on the body. Ensure proper drying of the yam. Remember, we talked about coring, which involves exposing the yam to a warm and humid environment for a period of time to help them develop protective skin and heal minor cut and bruises. That's why you have yam ban. Where they keep the yam in the villages. Use ventilated packaging material to prevent growth of mold. That's why the cartons are perforated. Implement good hygiene practice during handling and, of course, during storage. Weight loss and dehydration. Implement effective temperature and humidity control during storage and transportation. Use packaging material with moisture retention property to minimize weight loss. That's also one of the reasons why they're wrapping it. Insect infestation. Implement pest control measures during cultivation, harvesting, and storage. Of course, if it's already infected, you can easily spot that and avoid that when you are purchasing. The reason for quarantine treatment is actually to eliminate pests and the larva of the pest that is already present on the yam, of course. Disease transmission. What you saw also could be as a result of disease. It could be that the yam itself is diseased, meaning ab initio, the yam already had a problem before they even package it for export. Because you tend to see chilling injury on the body, but disease inside. Implement strict biosecurity measures to prevent spread of disease. Conduct regular inspection and quarantine affected yam, because that can actually transfer from one yam to the other. Temperature fluctuation. Use insulated packaging and temperature control container. That's refrigerated container. For long distance transportation, monitor and regulate storage condition. In fact, using a refrigerated van might be the best option for you if you are moving that yam from outside Lagos into Lagos after you have packaged it. Mitigate. Use insulated packaging and temperature control container for long distance. Smell. If the yam is smelling musty odor or foul odor, coming from the yam is a clear sign that the yam is bad inside. Musty odor. Texture. If the skin is wrinkled, it can be an indication that the yam is past its prime and may be bad inside. It might be an indication that the yam has passed its prime and may be bad inside. And the most common one, of course, you are aware of that, sprouting. When the yam begins to grow, it's a sign that something is not right. Of course, if it's growing, you definitely know that something is wrong with the yam inside. So that's the way you know if the yam is bad inside, just by looking at it on the outside. Like I said, you can often tell, number one, soft spot on the body. Number two, discoloration. Number one, soft spot on the body. Number two, discoloration. If you see any color on the skin, that can be a sign the yam is bad. If you have smell, musty or foul smell, it's a sign that something is not well with the yam. And of course, we also talk about the texture of the yam. If the skin is wrinkled, it's a sign that all might not be well with the yam. And lastly, if it's sprouting, or you can see mold around the yam. If it's sprouting, or you can see mold around the yam, these are signs that all is not well with the yam. Incorrect packaging. Follow industry best practice. I've shown you the picture of how people currently package it. Wrap each yam in paper, put them in the carton, perforate the carton. Not compliant with facility regulation. Obtain SC facility certificate and comply with international regulation. Conduct pre-shipment inspection to ensure adherence to this required standard. Of course, documentation issue can be a problem, particularly phytosanitary certificates. So verify that all your paperwork are accurate, and I'm particular about phytosanitary, and if there's any inspection. Lack of quality control measure. Remember, you have quality specification to be followed. So what you need to do is to follow the size, the measurement expected. Conduct regular inspection, identify and address any quality issues. Insufficient training for handlers. Yes, capacity building can be a problem. And then mitigation, post-harvest losses. Implement proper handling techniques and include timely harvest, minimize delay in transportation. By addressing these common quality issues and implement effective mitigation strategy, EFTA can enhance overall quality and marketability of yam tuber for international trade. Collaboration with agricultural experts. Remember, people that have done it well. Adhere with regulatory requirements, continuous improvement in handling the practices are essential. Let's go on a break.
John, a determined entrepreneur, desired to go into export business but was clueless about the process. He was introduced to Export Hack, a comprehensive and product-specific online course for mastering export of agro-commodities, processed foods, solid minerals and manufactured goods. John immediately bought the Export Hack for product of his choice at 100,000 Naira per product and voraciously learnt about the specifications, packaging, documentation, market potential, pitfalls, pricing, risk mitigation, and strategies for securing buyers abroad. Through Export Hack's guidance, John boosted his export skills and became a proficient exporter. With the newfound expertise, he navigated the challenging landscape and successfully avoided common pitfalls in export business. Today, John stands as a master in exports business, a testament to his perseverance and invaluable lessons from the Export Hack. To buy the Export Hack for your product of choice, visit globaltradecollege.com or call 080920000424, 080920000424.
All right, thank you very much, everyone.